Alright, so on this video, we're going to talk about your final. Okay? First, first thing I want to do is go through the rubric with you. First section is composition. So rule of thirds, extension, horizon line, overlap, and variation. The next one, your texture scales. This is -7 to 7. Textures and patterns should break up the dead space. So here we're talking about backlighting and creating the illusion of depth and a single source, light. The next one, we're going to look at shadows. And it should enhance the realistic illusion. And last but not least, neat and clean. Alright, so first one, composition. Now you've already done it. So my best suggestion is to take a look at these and pick one you like. I liked this one the best, so this is the one we're going to do. Again, I cut up a brown paper bag, and that gives me my P. First thing I want to do is rule of thirds. With a pencil, go ahead and put in your tic-tac-toe board. This will help you get your items in place. Next, get your extension, your horizon line. And I believe on this one I put it right there. Awesome. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just copy what I did because I like it. And since we've already know that this one does all of the rules we need it to do, overlap, I know I'm covering everything I need to cover. And then I've got my circle down here. Over here, we're going to hit the other two. I'm going to put this guy in here. And I offset this one. Make sure you ground it. If you're putting anything on top, make sure they're grounded. Circle in front. I'm going to shrink that up a little. Alright, so no superhighways. 4 points are being used. Variation, different size. Horizon line, overlap. So, category number 1, done. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the texture scales. This is the part that's going to take the longest because we're going to do these guys. So, pick a texture you like. I'm going to go back to my Crayola here. And start. Pick a shape, any shape. Remember who's in front and who's behind. So, for like this guy, if it helps, go over it with the black ink pen first and give it a nice outline. You may find that's very helpful in determining who's in front and who's behind and what lines to leave and what lines not to do. I get this one here because that one visually is behind. Stop here and get the side of this guy. Ta-da! And then this one over here. And this one comes down. We got this one, this one, this one, this one. I need my horizon line, don't forget it. Horizon line, horizon line. Alright, now, at this point you can erase all your back lines because neat and clean. You want to get rid of the lines you don't need. Yeah, my table's wobbly. And you don't need to see the horizon line through an object because we want to make these objects appear solid, so we're just going to go ahead and erase what we don't need anymore. And by getting rid of those lines, we're solidifying, oops, sorry, camera, what we've got. Alright, done. So, time to put textures on. And again, this part's the one that's going to take the longest. Remember, define light source. So if my light's coming this way, it's going to hit here first. That's going to be 0. Now I'm going to do another one. I backed up. Always start from the tip. And I'm going to catch that edge. And this is a very scribbly texture, so it's okay to be scribbly. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, I'm going to do real controlled. Go back in. Remember your different parts. Light, medium, dark. Okay. Because that's going to take a long time, I'm not going to do the whole thing in front of you. I already did one. Ta-da! All right. So on this section, we have our negatives. We need our positives. Okay. So come down here. This is where we're going to use this scale. So I need to change from a black to the white. Same rule applies. If light's hitting here first, here's where I'm going to have the most white pencil. Again, all the way to the corner. And I'm just going to get a little bit in here. Same thing here. Now here's where you got to find your inner Hulk. Really press on that pencil to get the white to show up. So I've got light, I got medium, I got dark. Same thing here. Copy the texture you did. Don't try to make a new one. Hopefully you can see that. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets some. Who'd I miss? I missed this one down here. Alright, so now, on my rubric I got -7 to 7, okay, in order to create depth. Next one I'm going to do backlighting. Now that's where on this sheet we did all of this fancy stuff back here. Remember, this is your positive negative, so it's got to be reversed. The white pencil now goes on the dark side. White pencil, dark side. Opposites. Notice it didn't go down here. Leave it alone. Now I'm going to take my pen on the light side . Try to avoid clashing into things. Again, stop at your horizon line. Do not go into your horizon line. Alright, I put a little extra out there just to break up the dead space. Which leads me down here. So how do we break up this dead space? Well, go down to your next one. That's where your shadows come in. Remember, if it's a round object, it's a round shadow. Watch where the shadows butt up in to get something else. Now, I suppose if you want to get really fancy, you can make them go up the object. But we haven't talked about that yet. So if you don't, that's fine. Just make sure everything that has a shadow that I get to see, I get to see. And then we can give this guy a little one back here. Gotta feel like Bob Ross. For those of you who are in first semester, we did a thing with Bob Ross. Alright, so I got my shadows. And that breaks up the space down here. Neat and clean. Make sure all the pencils are erased, and there's your final. When you're finished, please, please, please take a picture of it. Send it to me. And if you'll send it to my email address, not through Skyward, it'll actually come through cleaner and I can see it better. I hope this helps. If you haven't finished the first assignment, I'm going to make a video for it too.